All right, everyone. Today we're going to finish our tour of the shop talking about smoothing and shaping machines. Well, machines and tools. So we've talked about tools that cut, we've talked about tools that spin, and now we're going to talk about tools that smooth and shape. So after you've cut the wood out and maybe you've drilled the holes you want, we need to smooth it out, whether it be taking out the machine marks from another machine or we need to smooth it out ready for finish. We're going to go over the tools that do that, and they do it with a couple different ways, knives and blades. So like last time, templates below, fill out the template. Are you ready to get started? Let's get started. Lastly, we're going to go over tools in the shop that are designed to smooth the wood. So after you rough cut it, after you drill whatever you want to do, now we want to smooth it out to the shape and size we want. So let's talk about one of the most useful tools in old-timey woodshop working, which is the hand plane. It's a very simple, humble tool that has a flat steel bottom and this little blade that only sticks out a tiny bit. And as you move this across the wood, it will bring up shavings here. And that's meant to smooth out pieces of wood or get it to the thickness we want. Now that used to be the only way to do it, and then we modernized it. So this is a plane, and this is a planer. This big machine has underneath this cover a cylinder of blades, similar to the hand plane. Imagine a bunch of these spinning really fast underneath inside here. And you set this to the thickness you want, however thick you want the wood to be, and you push it through, and when it comes out the other side, those knives shave the top of the wood, and when it comes out the other side, it's smooth and it's the thickness you want. Let's say, for example, you had a piece of wood that was 1.5 inches thick, and you wanted to make it 1 inch thick. You needed to take off a 1/2 inch of wood to make it thinner. This can't do it all in one shot. You would do little by little, running it through, and every time it comes out, it would get a little bit thinner and a little bit thinner until it was perfectly 1 inch. That is a planer. They come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Next to it, we have a joiner. Now the difference between the joiner and the planer, we also have another joiner way over there, which I'll walk over to you for you in a second. The difference between these two is that, we'll bring up our piece of wood again. If I wanted to do, let's say I took this to the bandsaw and I resawed it down, and this side was really rough and I needed to smooth it out. I come to the planer and I send it through just like this, the face. But this doesn't do anything for the edges. The joiner is what works the edges. So you use this fence to keep this perpendicular, and as it goes over, underneath here is a cylinder of knives, the same cylinder of knives like that's on this one. And as it goes across, it will shave the edge to be perfectly smooth and 90 degrees from this face. And then you'll get a nice square piece of wood like this, which has a flat top and perfect sides. Same concept as the plane, using this knife to slowly shave the surface of the wood smooth. These two do that also. Here's another joiner, a benchtop version. Underneath there's the knives. You can see, very dangerous. You want to make sure you're using proper safety with this. And this is the joiner, which works the same way as the other one that I just described. But smoothing wood out with knives, with blades, is not the only way to do it. We also do that with sandpaper, and that's what this machine is. This machine is the surface sander. It works very similar to the planer, except the planer has that cylinder of blades underneath. In this case, we have 2 cylinders of sandpaper, and they spin round and round, and when you feed the wood through this way underneath, it sands the whole top, smoothing the top of the wood out. So when you put the wood in here, when it comes out the other side, it's perfectly flat and smooth. We also could use a spindle sander to sand if we had a radius, like an inside of a circle, and we needed to sand something that was more round, we could use this. Or if we wanted to sand the edge of something, we have 2 disc sanders. And these spin in a circle, and you put the wood on the table and you press it to the sandpaper, and it will sand small pieces nice and smooth to the size you want. And then we also have palm sanders, which are these, where you strap the sandpaper to the bottom, and when you turn it on, it will vibrate really fast, and that allows you to sand that way. Or the way we prefer to do it is take a piece of sandpaper and just manually sand the wood. We're gonna go over sanding in depth another time, but those are the palm sanders, disc sander, spindle sander, surface sander. And those are the sanding machines that smooth out the wood. Additionally, the joiner and the planer smooth out the wood. And that is it, everybody. That's the tour of the wood shop. We went over so much stuff over these last few classes, all the tools and the machines. There are so many more that I didn't even discuss with you in this one, but now you have a basic catalog, those 3 Google Docs, that will show each machine, each tool, the name, what it's used for. So now when I'm talking about them in these videos or in class, you will have a frame of reference to know what I'm talking about when I say, I cut this on the chop saw, we shaped this on the planer, whatever it is. You need to know all of this because this is how we prepare the material before we actually build a project out of it, or what we use to build a project out of it. Okay, so like last time, Google Doc below, copy the template, fill it out, names of the tools, plus what we use it for, and get that submitted. Let's go, everybody. Woo! Yeah! Right.